So we'll try to keep it to about 20 minutes to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And if we run out of stuff, that's
do we have
totally okay.
we don't have a name for this yet, do we?
No, this is known as the Combo Cousins podcast. This will be podcast 2.
Yeah. So
And-
far we have we were working on a name. We haven't really.
Right. Yeah. Talking game. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded.
That's probably actually. Dude, I bet you that's actually a podcast name.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
We shouldn't say that.
Right. We're taking it.
Yeah.
So again, this podcast is something that we haven't done as much of.
Not very formally.
Yeah,
at least.
not very formally. So we'll get the hang of it.
Well, let me just say that Matthew called me and he said he wanted to do another one. And the first one I kind of wanted to do, and I had a lot to prepare for. But this time Matthew has something he wants to talk about.
I've got a couple of things.
And I
It's
have a
little
couple of
more
things, but-
off the cuff.
Yeah, but I'm excited to hear about it. And he hasn't told me about what he's going to talk about. But let's.
Kept it a deep, dark secret.
Yeah.
So I'm gay. No, just kidding. That's a huge dropping the bomb.
All right.
So basically, just wanted to start out talking about a couple of games that I'm pretty excited for.
Uh-huh.
One of them actually we just learned just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Styx 2. Because I've been playing a lot of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I will most likely be doing a solo video of the first one, and then we'll see about the second one.
Is this a review, or is this just like stuff that you've noticed, or
It's going to be just kind of exploring the game. I think
Okay.
because again, we could talk about what you kind of want to do in your segments as well.
Right.
That might be a good little veer off. But for mine, I feel like I want to do videos of single player games, little things that you can do to make it more fun, and stuff about the game and why. Like maybe why is it? What things are good about it? What things are bad? Not necessarily a review, but kind of in the moment, like, whoa, what was that? Or like if something glitches or something. So,
so just your personal.
Yeah, just kind of how the game seems to me as sort of a.
But you're enjoying it so far.
Oh yeah. Styx 1. I mean, that's the reason why I want to play the second one is because that first one is just so much fun. Like
cool.
It's really interesting. It's very challenging too. I'm playing on like a more challenging.
It's kind of a
mode,
stealthy.
Yeah, it's a stealth game, stealth-based goblin game.
Yeah. Very, very weird. I don't want to give too much away for your own video, but yeah, it's just that's cool. I like that idea. So.
Yeah. So, and then aside from that one, I can't remember if I mentioned this one in the first podcast. I don't think I did. But Card City Nights.
Oh yeah.
That sequel is coming out. It's supposed to be out in like the next week.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually changing it up a little bit. I saw some screenshots of the game. The game setup is going to be slightly different. I think you're actually playing on the same board as each other, whereas in the first one you kind of had separate boards.
Oh, okay.
So I am really interested to see what that's going to be like, because the first one was kind of this weird little game that I just clung to as this, little card game thing. And I thought, oh, this one looks interesting. And I just played hours of it. So I just ended up, and now with the second one, they're actually going to have an online mode.
Is it going to be like point earning or pay to unlock cards or anything?
I have actually absolutely no idea because I haven't. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to work that system.
But is it going to have a single player campaign too? Or?
Yeah. It's going to be single player campaign. That's like what the first one was.
Oh, okay. So that's its major.
That's
selling
the
point.
major selling point.
Okay.
And we'll see how they work the multiplayer.
Yeah, I could see interesting things coming up with the meta on that.
Yeah, what have things done before with card? I mean, I played a little bit of the Magic the Gathering one that was on Steam, which wasn't that good. It was like just
well, that's not really competitive, honestly.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But to how they handled, you had to open up packs and get cards that way.
Oh, well,
so
also
I don't know what ways. What about Hearthstone? I mean, Hearthstone had a setup.
Well, obviously Hearthstone, but I guess first of all I should probably talk about what the meta involved in like actual Magic. They would actually just print cards. Like one of the best examples is I like to play during Shards set, and one of the powerful standard decks of that time was Fairies. And the reason they were so powerful was they had so many counter spells built into creatures.
Right.
And the fairies are cheap and they're quick, so it's like a tribal ability that also has control of the board. So you're rushing them down and you're playing blue control. So the thing that they had to do was they had to print a pyroclasm that was uncounterable.
Huh.
So yeah, and it was also instant. So they printed I forget, it was 2 red and 1 other. For those of you who know Magic, that's 2 mountains and 1 other of any other, and it dealt 2 damage to all creatures and all players.
So just a bomb.
Yeah, it was just a bomb for fairies
Right.
essentially. So they tried to fix it. They tried to make sure that like other decks would be able to make an impact in the meta. So like, yeah, I understand like doing stuff like that, but Hearthstone doesn't really go about it doing that way. They kind of it's all Hearthstone's a little bit more about just a value game,
Right.
and Magic not so much. It is Magic is about value, but it's more about like, because you can't do anything during the opponent's turn. So Magic definitely has much more layers to it.
Right.
In that
Yeah.
sense.
So I'll be interested to see how they handle the second one, and I understand why for the first one in Card City Knights they didn't have a multiplayer.
Do you think they'll have all the cards from the first one in the second one?
Again, I think the game board's going to be different.
Oh, really?
So they might change some stuff
Some
up.
mechanics
a
might be
bit.
different?
Yeah, some mechanics might be different. But I looked at their website, and a lot of their games are theme related. It's almost like they kind of have their own universe, because
Oh,
some of the
okay.
characters were like, there's this character on a card called Princess Remedy. There's actually a game that they made called Princess Remedy.
Actually, I played that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a really fun game. It's
That's cool.
it's kind of like a bullet hell, but like it's kind of like a trip back to like Final Fantasy or like Dragon Quest, and it kind of looks like it's on a Game Boy or something. And whenever you go around to different towns and like people look like they're dead or like they're sick or whatever, and you go talk to them and they're like, "Please cure me," and then you like blast the like viruses that they have or something. Some of them get hard though.
That's crazy.
And then you know what the most mind blowing part of it was? The very end of the game, you realize you're like the heir to the throne, but they say you can't claim the throne until you choose someone to marry. So you can choose any character in that game to marry at the end of.
That's so
Yeah,
interesting.
it's so weird.
That's kind of strange.
I was just like, oh, I'll just marry this girl or whatever.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. And I was like, okay, I'm done.
But yeah, so that basically they kind of have their games revolve around themselves, which is kind of cool. It almost seems like, you know, how Hearthstone has all the people from other
World
the
of
other
Warcraft.
World of Warcraft, their other Blizzard game. So it's almost like they have, that's what this card
That's
game
neat.
is too,
At
which
least
is
it
kind of
has-
interesting.
Yeah, it has some like
Lore behind it.
player base to
Yeah.
like to identify those characters and
Right.
everything.
So that's another game that I'm really interested in. That's actually coming out this month. So I have 2 games that are coming out this month that I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything that you've learned about recently that you're excited
Yes.
for new games?
Oh my god. I just learned today. What's today? It's Saturday.
18th, yeah.
Saturday.
March.
March 18th,
2017.
2017. Yeah. Anyways,
Right, yeah.
earlier today, I was looking on Portland Retro Gaming site and on my Facebook, and this one, I believe this one lady posted a thing where it showed a video, and it showed like, you know how like you look at Facebook posts and it's like a video, and it's kind of got that meme thing. It's like got the video in there, but it's also got like text on top and bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and it said Daft Punk meets Stranger Things. And I'm like, well, I like Daft Punk and I like Stranger Things, so I'll watch this. And I didn't realize it was like part of the Portland Gaming thing at first. I thought it was just like some video. I started watching this. I'm like, dude, this is like some serious 80s nostalgia, like on like super neon lights and stuff. And like it's making a lot of cool references. And I was like, wow, this doesn't look like it's a music video or anything. It looks like it's a video game. And sure enough, by the end, I was like, it looks like Swords and Sorcery. For any of you who have played that, that was like a very kind of like visual audio kind of like adventure. But then by the time at the end, it was Narita Boy, and I was like, oh, there's no way that's just like something. That's got to be like an actual thing that someone's making. So I looked at the Kickstarter, and I think they're based in Europe somewhere, but they have $20,000 more to go out of like the 100,000.
It was 130,000.
130,000. Yeah. So
they're at 110.
yeah, they're at 110, and I was like, oh shit, this.
Yeah.
And they have 8 days left. So I hope whoever is watching this goes and checks it out. Because
actually, Anthony mentioned this earlier this evening,
Yeah.
and I watched the trailer, and yeah, seriously, it looks so badass.
Yeah.
It's super nostalgic.
What was the funniest thing about it? It was like the high density
magic.
Yeah, it was a floppy disk, and I was just like, oh, that's classic.
Yeah, so it looks really cool. It looks almost like a more because did you play Swords and Sorcery?
I played about probably halfway through it. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure how far I got. But
I played the whole thing twice.
The only thing that I kind of like didn't like about it, because it told me play this game at your own pace,
Yeah.
and like after each session you should turn it off. And I was like, oh, okay, but I don't like that being told to me,
Right.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I felt
yeah.
like I shouldn't play it as much.
It seems like an interesting choice to tell people to not play your game.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
I don't think that's a good choice.
Yeah, no,
necessarily.
and I see where you're coming from on
Right.
that. I honestly just kept playing.
Right.
Which
And
I
I
mean,
think
I
that's
suppose
probably-
a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Duh.
I think that's what I should have done.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, it's and like you mentioned, it's a lot like Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah. Oh,
as
yeah.
well,
Hyper Light Drifter.
which is another fantastic game.
Yeah, I didn't get all the way through that one either, because I think I ran into a secret boss that I was just like, I can't beat it. And I like, and part of the confusion for me in Hyper Light Drifter was I missed a lot of things in a lot of dungeons sometimes, and like then I didn't know like, oh, what part was I supposed to do something in?
It's easy to get lost in that game.
and
Definitely.
and that was a little bit. I really like the combat. I wish. Oh my gosh, some of those bosses were so fun in that game, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more of that than exploring. just
Right. Yeah.
personally.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I honestly in that game got to the point where I was fighting what I think was the last boss,
Mhm.
and I tried to beat him multiple times. I couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got really frustrated, and I stopped playing. And my friend actually beat it maybe a month after that. And I said, was this the final boss? Like I suggested the one, I described the one I was fighting. He goes, yeah, that's the last boss. So I learned that it actually was, but I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I
Fine.
know that I'm really close, but I need to get back
You're
into it
just not-
too. Yeah. I need to find a good moment to get back into that game and actually
Right.
beat it. But I really, really liked it. I thought they did a really good job.
No, I think another thing was though too. I didn't. I don't know. This is getting a little personal too, though.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. No, that's fine, yeah.
When you got it for me, I was in Japan, and there were a lot of things going on for me in Japan. And when I was like, dude, this is a really weird game, and then I realized the guy was actually having heart troubles, and I was like, oh, that's a little bit of a like downer.
Yeah,
to hear
yeah,
about that.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
but
it was,
but all in all, I thought it was very enjoyable.
yeah,
from what
the guy did a good job working with his small team on that. But yeah, Naruto Boy definitely
Naruto Boy.
worth checking out.
check out the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think that tomorrow I'm gonna have to log onto that Kickstarter and donate because
Yeah.
it looks
It's-
sick as hell.
No, like the music too is like, and I agree, it does sound kind of Daft Punky.
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Daft Punky, like the genre of Daft Punk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they should be their own
Yeah.
genre basically. So as I don't know, did you want to
right.
go next with something?
Let me say
Yeah.
one other thing. I guess
Yeah.
I am looking to do another episode of Broast Roast. I'm not
yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if I want to go in like a new direction with it or what I want to do with it. I still kind of want to continue going with my like kind of personal feel on it. I hope Matthew will help me with
definitely.
directing or anything to make sure I look okay, because I don't want to have to do it all by myself again.
Baby, you always look okay.
I know I'm sexy as hell, but no. But then also the thing was, I think it just took a lot out of me the first few episodes I did, and I was kind of upset that Nintendo just goes so hard because that Yoshi's Island one, or Yoshi's Island, I took down because Nintendo thought I was trying to make a profit off of it or something. I was just like, no, I just don't want it. If it's going to be on there, I don't. I don't want to feel like that's like Nintendo's thing.
Yeah,
I still have it on my own personal thing, but maybe I'll edit it later so it doesn't have that part that they didn't like. So
that makes a lot of sense.
and it probably could have been shorter too. So
I think again as we test these things out on the channel, we're gonna find what's really working, what's not. Or
Yeah.
take the bumps with nay.
I guess, and I should say what I'm thinking of too. I guess one of the episodes, I guess the next episode I'd like to do is, I said this last time, how much I like Darkest Dungeon, but the expansion, I would actually like to kind of, not, I know it's kind of one of those games you're not really supposed to tell a lot of people about, but I think it's kind of been out long enough that people are like, yeah, we should.
If somebody's playing it, they're playing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was looking at some of the reviews. I thought it was funny. Some people, so the most recent reviews for the game are like thumbs down. A lot of people are giving it thumbs down, would not recommend. But those same people have been playing it for at least 40 hours.
Yeah.
So they just got really salty when one of their, like, their whole team died.
Yeah.
And they're just like, fuck this game.
I know that feeling. I mean, it's so funny. I can only really play 2 dungeons or 3 dungeons at a time personally.
Yeah, sometimes I get on a roll, but then afterwards I'm just like, oh god,
It drains you.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh,
But it is one of the more stimulating, mentally stimulating games that I played. But then another one I'd like to do is probably I don't know. I guess I should do a follow up on the Persona. So
yeah. And we haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah, is that something we should lead into now, I guess?
I think that would be a good idea. So no, I'll let you do.
Okay,
into it.
So I was getting, I don't know what, like, kind of hyped me up for it, but I think they just released a recent trailer. It was like, oh, the school Persona 5 or whatever, and I was like, oh god, this looks so good. And me being a fan of the SMT series, for those of you,
our most popular video on the channel.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like it either. They say I did it in wrong orders, but it's my own list. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't care. Yeah. I feel like I appropriately graded them in the correct order. So
we go.
If you have a problem with it, that's fine. You can make your own.
Just go make your own video.
Go make your own video.
Step off and get to work.
Yeah, and then but then I'd like to do a Broast Roast solely on that, and I think so I pre-ordered. So first of all, I looked at Amazon, and I saw on Amazon they had the standard edition and the Steelbook edition. And I was like, why is the standard edition the same exact price as the Steelbook edition? and I was like, I should just get the Steelbook edition.
Yep.
And then I was thinking, like, well, that's coming in the mail on the 4th, April 4th. That's when the game releases, I believe. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Why don't I look at the actual Persona website? Go up, look at Persona website, and they say there's actually collector's edition still available on these sites. And I was like, oh, damn it. So for a little bit more, I put down for a collector's edition at Best Buy. And what's funny about it is you can actually pick it up at the store a day earlier than...
That's so cool.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well... Yeah, I should just do that then.
Right.
Because then obviously we can get started on... Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing a Let's Play of Persona 5, which is going to be probably one of our most popular series.
I think that we're going to get tons of views from that one.
Yeah, I think so.
We're honestly, we both took some days off.
Yeah.
So that we're going to play the shit out of that
game.
Yeah.
Hopefully not to the point where we aren't, or vegetables.
We're not going to do the stick of truth.
Oh God! Well, that was a little bit.
Anthony and I decided that we were going, and this is, we don't recommend this to anybody, or it
was a little too much South Park.
Yeah,
honestly.
it was like waterboarding. So we decided to play the entirety of the stick of truth. It took us 10.5 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I remember exactly the amount of time.
That's funny because I feel like that game shouldn't have taken 10.5 hours.
I think we were drained. I think we were just like...
Well, we broke it very quickly.
Oh, yeah, we did.
With the poison or whatever.
Yeah, with the poison darts. Yeah. The bar darts. It was so good.
We were like, wow, this is this early?
Overpowered as hell, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're not going to do it to the point of
exhaustion.
Stick of truth, yeah.
Right, but I think we will probably, I think one of us will probably take notes on things because, I mean, each time I played Persona 3 and 4, I had the no spoiler guide, which was like, I didn't use it for like bosses, but I did use it for like certain enemies.
Right.
But it's not like, I think the more I used it for was like the parts where you want to like get through, like, oh, I want to get through this like social link.
Yeah, and that's the thing that when I was playing 4, I basically wouldn't look up anything. The only things that I would look up were the answers for the tests,
Oh yeah,
because it was like,
sometimes you were like,
what is this?
Yeah, well, like if you were like a trivia master,
Oh yeah,
you'd really
and you
like
knew,
it.
You'd be like, oh, what is the most popular fruit in Japan? You'd be like, what is that? There's no way that I would ever know that. So it's, but yeah, no, I'm super excited for that.
I also think it's going to be really neat too, because it definitely looks like it has a more, I guess, a more traditional Shin Megami Tensei style, because like 3 and 4 were shadows. You had to fight shadows, which, if you're not familiar, most of the Shin Megami Tensei games, you're always fighting demons. And in those 2 games, you're exclusively fighting shadows, and those were never in any other game, as far as my knowledge. But then, maybe the 3DS ones, whatever, the ones that are based on 3 and 4. But then this one is going back to actually fighting the demons, which in Persona is obviously like the different personas you can change. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
to make
that'll
it.
be.
Yeah, and I kind of like to see that, and I like to see all those demons in 1080 glory or whatever. So
yeah, that'll be awesome. So we're both super excited for that.
I'm excited for the animation quality they have too.
Heck yeah,
it's like they put a lot of effort into this.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So moving off from that,
right?
There was another thing that I was going to talk to you about. Decided not to. Decided to wait for the podcast.
Right.
I had recently been watching a bunch of videos on this other YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's called Game Wisdom. I don't know if I've shown that one to you before. So he's actually a guy that doesn't have a lot of views on a bunch of his videos, and he posts like daily.
Okay.
But he
giving a nice shout out to him.
Yeah, I was like, hey, this guy, I really like his videos. I've been watching a bunch of them.
Okay.
And a lot of the ones that I really like are on game design.
Oh,
but
is this the guy that I know?
No. That's not. This isn't Game Maker's Toolkit.
Oh yeah, Game Maker's Toolkit. He's also very good too.
He's really good as well. But
some of his stuff, I tend to agree with a lot of it in the most generic, like general way. But like some of his more detailed stuff, I don't know.
Sometimes,
I don't know if he played it as much as some of the games. I mean, I haven't played some of the games, obviously,
right,
but like some of the games, I'm like, well, in certain cases, yes and no. Right. So, but yeah, he's very detailed about his stuff that he does.
So for the Game Wisdom one, I was watching this interesting one, talking about like game design and how do you make things have a certain flow and things like that. But an interesting.
Did he talk about Persona?
No. I'm not.
But that is
couldn't lead in that hard,
right? Yeah.
He was talking about QuickTime events.
Oh wow, funny you should say that.
What do you mean?
Because we just did
Red Steel,
and the QuickTime event.
Exactly. And that kind of was,
you should watch that episode, by the way.
I'm going to post it tomorrow, which means it'll be out by the time this podcast is out.
So you should. It's like 5th episode.
It's the 4th episode.
Oh, it's the 4th episode. Okay.
And then So, but I was just thinking, is there such a thing as a good QuickTime event?
I think so.
Okay, because I was trying to rack my brain thinking about them. I honestly haven't played a lot of games that have them.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I think the real genesis of QuickTime events is Shenmue.
Shenmue. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And I personally haven't played that game. I would like to. My friend Tony No, who should be doing more art for us very soon, and he should actually be doing. I'm going to invite him to play Shenmue 3 at least on the channel. Hopefully he will be working more with us. But anyways, he says it's actually very interesting because if you mess up in some of the QuickTime events, it changes some of the stuff throughout the outcome of the rest of the game. The QuickTime events one of the QuickTime events I personally liked was from God of War 3. And I kind of didn't really like have any memorable ones from 1 or 2, but 3 made you like you grab Apollo and you beat him up for a little bit, and then you're in first person mode, and then it makes you press L3 and R3 at the same time, and what it does is Kratos actually takes his hands and pokes out Apollo's eyes, and I thought that was so funny because it was like
it's actually a tactile thing.
that actually makes sense that I'm doing that, and that was the probably the most like memorable QuickTime event I've.
That's really
Ever.
interesting, because when I was thinking, I never played God of War 3, and I was just trying to think, I've never run into a situation where a QuickTime event has made me feel better about whatever I'm doing.
I actually think I want to say one other thing about it. I think God of War 3 actually did it the worst version of any of the QuickTime events, because the button command that you need to press is on the same side of the screen as where the controller button is, and I really didn't like that, because it doesn't make you think as hard about what button.
Yeah, then you're just like, oh.
Yeah. So in the previous ones, it was always in the same place, and you'd have to know what button you'd be like, oh, that one. I need to press that one. And maybe that was some complaint they got.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. I was just thinking that I've never run into something. I mean, and here's
right.
And I was thinking about this too. Every game has basically QuickTime events, because you're pressing buttons in a certain time in a certain order. So it's like, no, we are just doing things where you're like, you have to click or you have to press a button. I mean, and it's not exactly what it is, but if you're reacting to things, you're doing it quickly. You're pressing a certain button, but again, it's not exactly.
You're getting into like the Stanley Parable commentary on game design.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I wasn't even thinking about it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to get your short take on that, to see what you thought on.
I don't care for them as much, but I think if they do it in a creative way, I feel like it's fun. I don't know. I think most beat 'em ups I play don't have them. I don't think they need them.
Yeah.
I think usually it comes down to what button combos you need to know to get out of this situation.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more like, oh, I don't need to know what they're gonna give me.
Yeah,
I need to know like, oh, these are the enemies I have to deal with. This is the weapon I need, and how do I, and what timing do I need to press these buttons?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Anyway, I think that was a really interesting take on that, and I didn't know the God of War thing, so that was really cool.
No, it is
and
cool.
I think I can see where you're coming from, where something like that tactile would make a change.
Because the L3 and R3 actually do kind of pop. When
I
was like, when I did it, I was like, oh.
But
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's pretty hilarious. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to quickly mention, or.
No, thank you for. Is that all we got?
Yeah, that's kind of all that I had planned, and we took up an amount of time that the first one obviously was an intro, so we went on, but we're trying
to be more reserved.
Yeah, I think if we which maybe that means we'll just be doing a couple more podcasts.
I think so,
more regularly.
And I hope we can get a guest or two at least.
Yeah, we're gonna work a little bit more on getting other people. Because obviously Anthony and I get along pretty well. We need somebody to mix it up.
I think someone needs to get in between us, because you don't see it, but we almost break everything. Oh, speaking of breaking shit, we almost broke all of our equipment today.
We spent an hour trying to set everything up, because Anthony's done it once, but so long ago that no memories were present, and we were trying to figure out how to hook up the computer to the actual game capture and then have the soundboard, and it was just like it took us forever.
Yeah, it was a mind fuck.
Really. It was just like trying to. Yeah, it was just like God. So, yeah.
But so anyways, ending on that, we're doing
ending
good.
On our failures. This is a good channel.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
again.
please watch our other stuff. And let's give a shout out to Game Labs or
Game Wisdom.
Game Wisdom, and then.
The design Game Maker's Toolkit.
Game Maker's Toolkit, yeah.
So obviously great channels.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of interesting to be starting out, and when I was watching the Game Wisdom videos, to see that he doesn't have that many views either.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, oh, that's really interesting, because I think that he's been doing it for so much longer.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, this is something where I think it'd be interesting to give a shout out to a small channel like that. And I actually commented on one of his videos.
Nice.
And so it was kind of like, oh, that's a nice little community.
Hopefully it stays that way.
Hopefully, yeah, exactly. So
get some salty people on my Shin Megami Tensei list.
Right, we had that one guy.
Anyways,
yeah. So again, thanks for joining us. That was we're gonna try to keep having as much fun.
Yeah,
if not more. But
we're gonna have more.
Let's not push it. Alrighty, and we'll see you next time. And yeah, keep keep on the gaming. Do it. Push the buttons. QuickTime events.
Yeah.
How do you end these fucking things?
I think you just
do
shut
just
up.
be like, we out.
Yeah. Bam.
All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
We
out.
Is that the next we?
We switch. We out.
Oh.